Like dying. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. What are you reading there, Chris? Fantasy baseball. Oh,
We have
man.
moved on, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's time to move on. Anyway, what's
you
going
want
on?
to join my league?
Oh, my God. The league I won last year, by the way. Boom, shakalaka.
It's only because I.
Whoa. I'm dangerous in this spot. I'm dangerous in this spot.
What about Dak? How this?
Hey, we'll get into it.
We're
Trust
starting
me,
already.
we will get into it. We'll get into it all. I hope everybody's doing well out there. It is Sturch and Gooch. And, of course, A5 over there, Wrestling Rob on his way. Traffic again. You know, it's – you ever see the first Scary movie? I used to say that about you. If, like, the first Scary movie went – you ever see it, Ant?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like – I don't understand how he's so late. He lives so close, right? And he's like, the trailer is like parked outside the high school. I feel like that with Rob and with you. You guys are very close to the place, and I don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean,
it's another ball game.
I feel like I'm very early.
Normally, yeah. I mean, I think if there's a batting average, I lead the league in getting here before you. But again, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're definitely here before me every day.
I was like, wait, what?
Oh, man. Anyway, we got a loaded show for you coming up today. We want to let you guys know that we're coming to you live from the Richard Lucas Chevrolet
Like, are you on drugs?
and Subaru studio from Matawan, New Jersey. Of course, check out Lucas over there in Woodbridge, my boy Greg, my boy Artie. Those guys are holding it down there at Chevy and Subaru. Get yourself a brand new truck right now. I just saw the brand new Silverado, and it's got me already starting to second guess my down. I don't say downgrade. I like my car. I like my Blazer a lot. It's the Rally Sport. It's fully loaded. I mean, come on. But yeah, it's the truck. It's the truck that you want to feel manly. You want to go get the truck. But anyway, go check those guys out at Richard Lucas Chevrolet and Subaru. And of course, our friends over at Absolute Eyewear getting involved with us since pretty much Jump Street. I decided to go down the rabbit hole of old episodes. Just not a good look, not a good idea sometimes to go look at old episodes, but it shows progress.
I don't even listen to yesterday's or today's.
You're horrible.
Cases.
I know.
Can't do it.
Brett Ernst, same thing. Like he always like, what did I pick last week? I told you. I was like, what did you pick? He goes, I don't know. I'm asking you. I was like, you didn't watch the show? You listen to the show? Like, come on, man. Like, show some support. But anyway, shoots on went. Damn it, Jimmy. We were supposed to talk. I wanted to be an extra for Beer League 2, which is again shooting, and that's very exciting stuff. And Beer League, seen it? Wow, Jesus Christ. All right, well, I won't tell Jimmy. Well, you've just basically told Jimmy that you have not seen Beer League, but Beer League 2 is on the horizon or whatever they're doing over there. So I'm very excited about that for our very own liaison. That's Jimmy Palumbo. Obviously, a lot of football to get into today. The playoffs are set. Everything's cool. Well, not everything's cool, but the playoffs are set. We got games. We got a schedule. But I guess I will jump into the chat until Rob gets here. So let me just jump on the StreamYard. No Beer League, fire him. Yeah, I know. So that's it, Ant. The liaison told me that you are no longer with us. So he is a Giants fan, though, so you got to give him a little bit of a break. But anyway, we'll get into it. We got a loaded show, a lot of shit going on right now. Again, football comes first, and we'll start with.
So real quick.
You want to just
a real quick, a rising third baseman. All right. Gunnar Henderson leads an impressive class of newcomers. His meteoric rise through the Orioles system prompted this team to summon him to Major League Baseball late last season to aid its unexpected push for a wild card playoff spot. So look, guys, if you're looking for a third baseman late in your fantasy baseball draft, Gunnar Henderson could be your guy.
Yeah, they're all wondering right now, like, is that what we're going to talk about? Yeah, absolutely. That's it. So
I'm just going to cap all Dave's football points with a quick,
baseball
random
tidbit.
Baseball tidbit. It could be anything. It could be, hey, did you know? No, I'll save this one.
Let's start off with the New York Football Jets. Let's start on the local front first. Yeah, I saw Ken Paulman in the chat, and he's saying F the Jets. Look, dude, they had their chance. They had their absolute chance to get this done so many times. Flacco looked disinterested. It just looked like an abomination of a football game. The Jets just looked like shit. I mean,
Flacco had no interest in putting the Steelers in the postseason.
Well, that too. I mean, I'm sure, dude, you go out there and win a football game. It's the Dolphins. You want to knock them out. You want to do what the Lions just did. You know what I'm saying?
What did we expect out of Joe Flacco?
I mean,
6 points. That's what we expected. We got it. Moving on.
He hit the team over.
The defense gave up way too many points in that game, and that's why they lost. They gave up 9. How dare them? Honestly,
shitty way to lose this bet. How just so you know.
Oh yeah, the safety at the end of that game.
Yeah, but this spread was already intact. It was already.
What are you talking about?
The spread was like 3 or 2.
It was 3.5.
Okay, and if you had him at 9, oh shit! All right, my dad was wondering that too in real time. He's like, "Does that screw the bet up?" And I looked at our spread. I looked at our spread. It was in the 2s.
They called it a safety. They wiped the safety away, and then like later on re-ruled it a safety. And like
I didn't even see the play develop.
You had gotten your heartstrings played with a little bit if you had that plus.
I was looking at it,
or whatever you had it.
When the play happened, I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right. I thought for sure they were going to get a defensive touchdown out of the deal, right? And I was like, where the fuck is the safety involved here? I didn't even know. I guess the ball went out of the back of the end zone. The first person to touch it, or was it Jets?
I mean, it's just a
brutal. I don't know. It's weird.
You fumble the ball out of the end zone or out of bounds in the end zone.
Safety cover for the fin. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see. I saw the play. I just didn't know. According to what we had,
well, the Dolphins are dead meat next week, so it really doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, what's your consolation prize to go pay the Bills in Buffalo next week? But again, Jet season's over. A lot to mull over as far as the offseason is concerned. I think from everything I've said and read, I think the coaching is safe. I think there might be a fall guy in the offensive coordinator, LaFleur. He might be out. I don't know. I mean, when you have the quarterback carousel that the Jets had the entire season, like how the hell do you blame anybody? It's like blaming anybody who loses their starting quarterback in like week 1 for a bad year.
The only guy that you could really blame is the GM for making the draft pick if he really wanted to, but I doubt he's going to blame himself. I don't know. I think the Jets kind of stay. They get this year as a pass. Zach Wilson didn't pan out. They have to go after a vet quarterback and see if they can make this team work. And if Zach Wilson was the actual issue, if that is, and then it's an easy fix. They get Derek Carr, they get Jimmy G, they get maybe Lamar. I'm pretty sure those are the 3 guys that they're going to be after this offseason. If they could, I wouldn't even say they need to turn things around. Like the Jets defense is turned around. They have a really good receiver. They have a really good running back.
Well, think about it like this.
They could maybe use some
if
work.
They would have found 1 or 2 more wins this season. They'd be a lock to the 7 seed, and they'd be a playoff team.
But that could also be good, obviously, for forward moving momentum and things like that. Yeah. But it could be better that the Jets didn't make the playoffs this year because they don't deserve to be in the playoffs with how bad that offense is. And
it's true.
It highlights certain things. Like if Zach Wilson's a playoff quarterback, I mean, I don't think it would be because of Zach Wilson. I think even if they made the postseason, they would be out on him.
It's just it's unfortunate for them. The Dolphins will be moving on to the playoffs as the 7th seed, visiting the Buffalo Bills. So that'll do it for the Jets. I mean, AJ Bascone agreeing with you. That was a necessary evil, is what AJ Bascone, the prop beaver, by the way, hit one of his props. He hits many props, but like the one I didn't tail it because I'm an ass. But I did look into anytime touchdown for a Boston Scott. He like owns the Giants and he scored again. So it was one of those things. I was like, oh, he's going to hit that, isn't he? Speaking of the aforementioned Giants, they decided to rest everybody. No Daniel Jones, no Saquon Barkley. It was Davis Webb who was announced as the starter. So not even Ty God Taylor could have gotten out there and did anything. So the Giants were laying down from Jump Street. The Eagles go in there. They score early, a bunch of field goals at first. They were up 19-0 at this point, at certain points of the game. And from the Cowboys' perspective, obviously that, we'll get into that in a minute, but that went off the rails. So it's like you wonder, like, did the Giants want to try? I mean, they started scoring some points. I think Kenny Golladay scored a touchdown.
Yeah, it was pretty nice too.
I heard. I didn't see it, but I heard Kenny Golladay got in the end zone, so he ends his Giants tenure on a high note because there's no damn way this guy's brought back. There's just no way. $20 million. That's a big price tag for a guy who didn't do anything all season long.
He
looks like
crazy.
Danny DeJesus is in the building with his 1 seed. It doesn't, just so you know, 1 seeds don't always fare out so well. Giovanni Suarez saying Niners. Giovanni, welcome to the party. You can like the video on the old YouTube. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on with this. The Giants are now locked in as the 6th. They'll be going to Minnesota, in which I think, I mean, obviously we'll pick them and do all that shit on Friday, but just based off of what I've watched with Minnesota and the point differential and just, they're not getting a lot of respect going in. There's a lot of people that are going to bet the Giants this week just because of the fact that, like, they're going to be getting points going to Minnesota, right? But in hindsight, the better team going in right now, to me, is the New York Giants. going into the playoffs right now. I know the Vikings just beat up on the Bears. We'll get into that, but like I think that they're the better team overall.
Yeah, somebody clip that for me.
Right.
I think
I'll teach you, son. You can learn how to clip a little bit. What's up, Rob? Good morning, son.
Have played inspired in parts of the season, and then both teams have looked really bad. I think they're basically it's almost a fair matchup that we get to see these two teams play to see who is the actual more deserving of the everybody was calling fraud teams in the NFC all year. Well, one of them is going to show that the other one was an actual fraud. I think the Giants have advantages in this game, certain advantages, but at the end of the day, their corners are really not that good. And
it might be a pain in the ass.
Justin Jefferson should.
We've seen a little emergence out of the POS known as Kayvon Thibodeau, who's like doubled down on everything. By the way,
talks about how good of a coach Dable is, and rightfully so. Nobody's really talking about how good of a job the coach over in Minnesota's done. O'Connell, is that his name?
Yes, O'Connell.
You give him credit for that?
I was gonna say I don't know if you can do that, man.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
I'm put it this way. How do you not? What is
they've been the same though every year,
but
no matter who the coach is.
That's true.
They've lost all these tight games every year.
That's a good point too, though.
You know, like they're right now the Vikings could potentially be in a 2 seed yesterday, correct?
If the Niners would have lost,
if things would have shook out that way. Hey, I mean,
so all right, so I want you to keep that energy with the whole they won, they won a lot of games this year, right? Like
first year head coach.
I understand that, but
are you trying to ask me to like give flowers to Mike McCarthy for winning a ton of games?
No, but they don't win that shit by accident. Is what I'm saying. The Vikings won games. You want to talk about their head coach? You can also talk about the talent level on their team. They're giving up a lot of points.
Okay, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about Kirk Cousins, which
I'll say coming and saying O'Connell's coach of the year.
I'll say Kirk Cousins has been, one of the most scrutinized players. While he has good stats, everybody calls him a bum. The prime time doesn't help, etc. I think that Kirk Cousins doesn't get enough credit for this season. And I think if everybody's going to bash Cousins and be like, oh, they're doing it because they're talented, it's like, well, which one is it? Is it the coach or the quarterback? Because one of them has to get a little bit of a credit, right? Kirk Cousins doesn't get any credit. And the coach is now
I think it all depends on what they do in the postseason. That's
Minnesota
at the end of the day,
guys
that's what's going to
last year.
happen.
What did they finish? They had the same guys the year before. What did they finish?
I mean, it's the first time the NFC North has been up for grabs.
Well,
in how long? You know what I mean?
That's a fair point. But realistically, the Vikings, the reason being is because they didn't have a good coach potentially because the roster is largely
I always
the
liked
same.
Zimmer, man. I
too.
was a big Zimmer guy.
Like him,
defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys when they were winning Super Bowls.
Is he a winning head football coach? Is he
coaching some guys are better than his coordinators.
He's a good defensive coordinator, right? I think he's a great defensive mind, but when it comes to being a head football coach, he leaves a little bit to be desired. And now you're seeing the offense look a lot better with a new, I guess, a McVay disciple, but that's kind of the common
also
theme.
question about coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell. Well, I mean, we're out on the Vikings yet, and we will. Yeah, we should. I'll just wait to get there because I got a lot to say about that. All right, moving on. The Giants again, Minnesota coming up this week. So now the Dallas Cowboys yesterday decided to not show up to Week 18 at all. There was just plagued from the start. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. We got muffed punts. We got a punter who can't catch a ball. We got just all sorts of shit happening. We got Brett Maher, who hasn't missed a field goal all year round, missed the extra point after CeeDee Lamb scores. You got Dak Prescott throwing another pick six. It's alarming in this game. In this game, it was very alarming. What you're looking at was very alarming. My guess and my take and my true humble opinion, no bullshit, I think that this team was looking at Tampa Bay already going in. Because you think about it like this, McCarthy and company have to know that, okay, in order for us to win the division, the Giants have to beat the Eagles. They knew that was not going to be a possibility based off of what they've got with the intel, with the starters, all that shit. Jalen Hurts coming back, by the way, wearing a Michael Jordan fucking t-shirt. I'm back. Are you serious right now, dude? You're back against backups?
But
holy
Dave,
fuck.
I cannot let you get away with that.
Yeah,
What?
No.
Get away with
I'm
what?
saying like McCarthy,
You've never heard of a trap game? Anybody?
No, that's not how you said it.
I wouldn't
exactly
say
what
you
I'm
described it.
I'm
as a
saying
trap
that
That's
game.
exactly what a
if
trap
they're-
game
if they're
is.
a trap game.
A trap game is when you're looking to the following game.
Not the
No,
playoffs.
That's
you're
not a trap
starting
game. Is
Dak,
like in
all
point
those guys.
spreads. It's like they're trying to trap you. In this case, it's like they maybe got caught looking ahead. They didn't get trapped by anybody but themselves. If that's the case, though,
they couldn't get out of their own way. Dak Prescott looked awful yesterday. The defense looked bad yesterday. I mean, it was Sam fucking Howell. Are we kidding? Like, this dude never took a snap in his life, and he's out there dishing them out. And you know what? Not for nothing. Credit to the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, for whatever reason, can't get a unknown quarterback on the wraps. They can't do it. It's this guy this week. It was the 2 quarterback set with the Texans. It was fucking Gardner Minshew had himself a day. Josh Dobbs had himself a day for the Titans. The Cowboys can't seem to figure out a quarterback that they don't have tape on. Period. Blank stop. It's it. And the kid,
it's a shame. Tom Brady. Nobody's ever seen him play before, so you guys are probably in
no. We got plenty of tape on Tommy. Trust me on that one. We got plenty of tape on that. And the Cowboys, again, for whatever reason, make it make sense. Kyle and guys who gamble and Sam and all you guys, make it make sense. The Cowboys are favored by 2.5 going in. Now look, the Bucks are 8 and 9. You know, they finished their year with a loss. So do the Cowboys, right? And you know,
bro, the Bucks, the Cowboys should be favored.
The Cowboys should be favored. I think the Cowboys are a better team.
Low.
I don't know about low, but
I feel like it's a little low.
All I'm saying is, I mean, again, it's just this game in particular. I really truly felt that they are either going to beat the shit out of them, like they did last year with the Eagles. Eagles rested guys. The Redskins rested guys. They should have beat the brakes off the Redskins, right, or Commanders, but but they didn't. And I thought that it was going to be one of two ways: either A, they kick the shit out of them, or B, they get the shit kicked out of them because they just didn't show up. And that's what happened. It was one or the other. It wasn't going to be a close game. It wasn't going to be like, oh, they're lining up for a game-winning field goal. No, it was not going to be close. You were going to find out right away which Cowboys team showed up. And unfortunately for them and the fan base, everybody's up in arms. Is this the beginning of the end? Are we one and done? Blah, 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 blah.
Well,
I'm here to tell you guys.
If they lose to Tampa, McCarthy should get fired.
I'm here to tell you guys that the Dallas Cowboys have not lost 2 games in a row at all at any point this season. And every time they've lost, they've went on runs to win games. Okay, so that's exactly what we have to look and kind of hold our hats on. If they lose to Tampa Bay, okay, now it just so happens that the game is on the 17th, okay, or the 16th. The following day is the window where you can start talking to Sean
coaches.
Yeah, you can. Well, not even that. The homeboy from the fucking Sean Payton.
The Broncos are trying not to let that.
Broncos are going to try. The Broncos are interviewing everybody. By the way, they got Jim Harbaugh. They're trying to get fucking Dan Quinn again. But what I will say is this: if the Cowboys handedly drop, you lose on a last-second field goal to Tom Brady. I'm sorry. It will gut me. It will make me feel like the bottom, being in a bottomless pit to lose to Tom Brady on a last-second field goal or something to that effect. If they get run out of town, if the Broncos just, if the Bucks just completely dismantle the Cowboys in the wild card round, then yes, you can make a case for McCarthy just not being the leader of men in the postseason when it counts. But this team has won 20. They've won. What was I saying? 24 of their last 34 games. Okay, you can't in the NFL. You can't dismiss that. You can't just be like, well, you know, look what they done in the play. Bro, 12 wins in the NFL. I'm sorry, is good.
I know
you don't do that shit by accident.
I watched the Packers go through the same thing every year, and then being like, "Oh, you know, like he had a good year. They won 10, they won 11, they won 12. And then they would fucking win a playoff game, and they would be like, "Oh, well, McCarthy did enough. You know, we're gonna run it back." And I'd just be like, "Fucking a decade later, I'm staying with McCarthy 120 wins."
What I will say is this: the Cowboys have absolutely played down to their opponent, but they've also played up to everybody else. They're 5-1 against playoff teams right now. 5-1. The teams that they've struggled against for whatever reason missed the playoffs. You know what I mean? So like, let's not.
They're 1-4 on grass.
The gold grass thing. Please miss me with all that shit. And I do respect all the Cowboys writers, and I do respect them and their hustle and their grind and all that shit. But like, for them to be like, well, they're slower on grass, and that's going to be the bugaboo. Are we kidding? What the fuck did you play on your entire life? Like, it wasn't until you were in the high school, and if you went to a rich high school, you had turf.
Some of these kids may have played on turf, bro. It's crazy. Like, if
but
you're
that's
from Old Bridge, you only played on turf.
What bridge?
Like,
now it is right. Now it is. So yes, the younger generation has played on turf. It's flopped, yeah.
It's like, yeah, you got to wear these shoes on this.
Bro, when you walked in, both of you guys, the same thing with me. When you walked in and you saw turf on a field, like, these guys got money.
That was at Rutgers. Was the first time we got to like see real turf. Like, it was at Rutgers camp, and they just got it.
I never even seen it.
I'm like, what shoes do I wear on this?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, in any event,
it's slippery.
Absolutely slippery. The fact is, the Cowboys have Tampa Bay. We'll talk about that. Obviously, when that comes. But the Cowboys finished 12-5. Nothing to sneeze at here. It doesn't look great right now for the fan base. I'm well aware of that, but I'm here to tell you, pump the brakes, relax a little bit. It's Tampa Bay, and they've sucked all year round. So don't. There's no reason why they can't beat the Buccaneers.
We'll pick the game on Friday. I can't wait.
I saw a couple things saying like if the Cowboys lose to Tampa Bay, will it be a disappointing the season be a disappointment? Yes. You're going in their favor. That means the world thinks you should win the game. So if you lose, screw you. You lose. That's it. It's over. Anyway, moving on.
Game of the night.
To a bigger disappointment than the Dallas Cowboys, and that's the Green Bay Packers. And I'm being not trying to be facetious or trying to like stir the pot, but when you got a game at home and a win-in situation, you got to get it done. I picked them to win handedly. We all did. All three of us here were in on these guys. We all thought they were going to win this game.
I did not.
You thought they were going to win the game. I don't care about the spread. You thought they were going to win the game.
Just so don't say we all three picked them handedly. I said this is going to be a fucking tough game. I did not anticipate the Lions laying down no matter what. It almost was like better for the character of the Lions for them to not make the playoffs and then get to go out and make it their Super Bowl to go play against Green Bay.
Yeah, so obviously that happens. Previously, the Seahawks win their game, knocking the Lions out. All of a sudden, the Lions are a team with nothing to lose, so they played loose and they played free. And not going to lie, man, when I saw that hook and ladder called on that play, I don't think I've seen a ballsier call by a coach in that situation. You want to do that shit to end the game and do all your laterals all over the place, but to do that then and have it executed the perfect way that they did, shout out to Campbell. That guy has had this team playing the entire season hard, and now you get eliminated from the playoffs.
Such a moral
the Flowers are
moral victory Monday for the Lions. Congrats,
no, it's
guys.
victory Monday for the
Congrats, guys. Moral victory.
No, they won the game.
Guess what, Dave? I understand.
I'm just saying,
I understand.
it's not moral. They won.
I watched it. But my point is, what are we celebrating the Lions? They didn't make the playoffs either. They're out.
Yeah, but they look like they have promise. If you look at your division now, going forward.
Did we not know the Lions had promise?
No. I'm talking about going forward now. Now you can't just do what you used to be able to do and say like, wow, we'll probably win all the games in the division because we should. But now you won't.
I'm aware it's football. It's never supposed to be like that anyway. It's not easy to have a dominant run. But the point being is Packers are eliminated. Understatement, Dave. Bigger disappointment than the Cowboys this season. Yes, one team made the playoffs, one team did not. So
I didn't
obviously,
ask that, but you're bringing.
I mean, that's how you open the show. That's how you open it. You said a bigger disappointment.
Tell me it's not a bigger disappointment.
I mean, no, it is.
Logistically,
but the whole point is
home. You should win.
That's stating the obvious. I don't understand the point of making the statement. Nonetheless,
I run a show here.
Packers are down. They lose. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to retire
again. He's turning into Favre at this point. Like,
Willie
won't he?
No, but at least like I would say his press conference was the most honest you've seen it.
You know what, dude? It's very hard to win in this league. When you lose in that game in that situation, it's almost like how the fuck can you even think about the next day?
Jordan Love seizing my balls, bro.
It might be, but it might be. But what I'm saying is this: Rodgers did throw his most authentic conversation afterwards because it's like you emptied the tank. So like I'm thinking to myself, even if Rodgers came back, I've said it 3 different times on Twitter. I said too much time. Rodgers gonna get this ball back and win this game.
And then they got the ball with like 13 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And there was no timeouts, and it was just
just
not enough time.
Not enough time. Maybe 13 seconds isn't enough for Rodgers. But what I will say is this: the guy's a winner. He's a fucking one of the best quarterbacks I've ever watched. If this is it for him,
how about the pass to Dobbs? That was too good of a pass for Dobbs to even catch it at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think it was Collinsworth who said like, or whoever it was Collinsworth. He's like, what was wrong with that ball?
But
I said nothing.
And then how about the pass that he threw directly to Kirby Joseph like 14 times in a row?
Kirby Joseph.
What is going on with that? The guy's like a fifth.
Somebody changed his Wikipedia, by the way. I don't know if anybody noticed that.
Really?
Yeah, he is now Aaron Rodgers' father. Because
did you see
3 interceptions by one dude.
The whole thing that pissed me off is the Lions social media team. They're running it's like, give me a break, bro. You guys didn't make the playoffs either.
But you just called it their Super Bowl. So it was. No. That's how they're going to act.
Great. Bro, this is my
whole point. And we can't be like, act like you've been there before because I haven't.
This is my whole point, though.
Right?
It's like, it was their Super Bowl. And that's why I said it was better for them to not even make the playoffs because no one expects the Lions to make it. When they lose, it's like, oh, here we go again, guys. But we're going to fight anyway. That's the whole Dan Campbell thing.
After watching what they did to the Packers in Green Bay, could the Lions do anything in the playoffs, you think? Honestly, be honest. I know it's tough to admit. Do you think they could have scrapped with the
They would've got-
Niners?
No way, not
No.
them.
No?
No.
Could the Packers have?
No.
Okay.
Packers,
Like,
the receivers are bad.
I was
mean-
looking at the Packers like a hired assassin. I
Bro.
was like, I hope the Packers get in because if they get in, they have
Look,
a chance.
the Packers,
to beat off some of these
it
big
wasn't their
teams.
year, right? They made their run. They shot their load against
Hey,
Minnesota.
bro.
They basically played the game of their lives that week. And they played a decent first half, but there was the Aaron Jones fumble. They couldn't get out of their own way in
That
the
was a
first
rough
half.
one.
They gave up way too many opportunities to put a lot of distance between themselves and the Lions. And when you let that team stick around, bro, what do you think the halftime speech was like? Like, I like LaFleur, right? I think he's a really good coach. But when it comes to like in that moment, there's something that he lacks that Dan Campbell has. And that's at halftime, LaFleur was probably working on some things. He was doing this, he was doing that. And Dan Campbell probably laid it all out in the line, like, fire me if we don't win this, you know.
That's a
Like
fact.
some,
That's true,
some
bro.
crazy shit where the
Not
team,
wrong.
they come out and they're willing to run through a wall for their coach because they know that they only have a half of football left together.
I don't.
And the Packers were still kind of like,
I
you know,
don't,
playing it safe.
Listen,
Quay Walker.
I'm a grown man. Oh, wait.
Dude, what's up?
What
with
are we
that,
doing
bro?
I'll
here?
tell you guys everything that happened here, right?
I saw it. I
Either-
understood it.
But DeAndre Swift and Quay Walker, and then even the other guy that was involved
95.
in 95 win
Yeah,
or Wyatt.
I
Whatever.
think it's Wyatt. But you're
Wyatt, yeah. They were Georgia teammates, so they were checking on Swift, and that's how that whole
That's
thing happened.
fucking true.
And then he
I
turned and
don't
he
even think
pushed
about
him.
that, but it's true,
And
bro.
look, it was a bad spot to be in. Shitty move, but he's a 21-year-old kid. I'm going to give him the pass. I don't think he's a douchebag, but it is his second ejection. In that moment, you can't do that. I don't care. I'm giving him the pass on the like he pushed the trainer. I think that was just reactionary. Just doing anything dumb in that moment, I'm not giving him the pass on. But I don't think that he's like trying to assault somebody for.
No, yeah, I don't. I
Shout
didn't
out,
think it
shout out
as
to
bad. I think
Detroit.
it's like, hey, bro,
Shout out
fuck
to
you.
the Detroit coach who got pushed, got up. He's like, he wanted all the smoke, dude.
Right.
He wanted. He was right.
I mean,
Quay Walker, he would have died. But
yeah,
like, you know, it's like.
If
but
they were at a
listen,
gas station, he wouldn't have done that.
Right. Listen, truth. Very, very true. Surrounded by men with helmets, you're like, yeah, I'll do this. Watch this. No, Quay Walker, to me, outsider, not a Packer fan whatsoever. You don't do that kind of shit. They could suspend him for a game next year if they really wanted to. They had to eject him right away. The fact that they had to stop the game and then reject him after that, or eject him after that, was kind of piss poor by the NFL. But it took somebody else like, yeah, he shoved that
No,
guy. So goodbye. You're
Yeah,
done.
no,
He's-
And
that,
then
that
you-
was the right move.
yes.
They had to eject him, one, because of just one, putting your hand on a coach.
Oh,
or
100%.
anything
But they
else.
just didn't do it at first.
The Hamlin thing happened 2 weeks ago, and they gave an award to Buffalo's training staff.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like the
It's
whole
just
week,
absolutely
the whole
not.
week, the NFL
You could have
is
sneezed on that guy.
praising-
Like, you're out of here.
praising coaching staffs and training staffs
Just
all
wouldn't
week long.
matter.
And then Quay decides, fuck him. It's like, I just don't, it's a shitty look. I don't know.
Did
Quay-
you see?
Did
The
this-
timing of the Pittsburgh thing.
Did you see the Jameson Williams at the end of the game asked Rodgers for a jersey?
Yeah.
And Rodgers was like, I think I'll keep this one.
Yeah. But then Jameson was like, yo, man, you said.
Really?
He's
No
screaming. Watch,
way.
bro, watch that video. Jameson Williams gets
Because
butthurt
Rodgers
that
probably
he doesn't get
signed
it.
like 10 in the locker room. It's like, yeah, I'll give
No,
you
but
one,
Jameson
just not
Williams
this
was
one.
like,
He
you
must have
told
asked him
me.
beforehand. Rodgers was like, yeah, we're gonna fucking win. Yeah, you can have it, bro. I got another game to play next week.
That, yes.
No, but
yes.
but
he
it was
probably
his
would have
last,
given
it
it to
could have
him.
been his last home game, so
Holy.
he wasn't giving up his last
I
home
would.
jersey.
I wouldn't.
No way.
I understand the privilege, but still, though, I didn't hear that part. Like, you told me.
Yeah, dude, the whole you, but you said, and Rodgers was like, yeah, all right, buddy, that's it. Enjoy your career. You know, I don't know.
All right,
But
can we
anyway,
move off this game before
Yes,
me and
we
Dave
can move
get
off
into
this
another
game.
fucking argument?
I'm not
over
arguing with
fucking-
anybody. I'm fine. I am totally cool, man.
That was
my
a
team looks like
the-
shit.
oh, there
I
was-
said to you, I said,
there
oh, we
was
get an
no-
extra week of
guys,
football, but that's
guys,
probably it.
there was tension,
There was
right?
tension. I felt it.
Oh, you felt the
I
tension?
understand us. You're new here, bro. I've been here every fucking 18 weeks of this shit. Welcome. Keep
I-
coming
I've
back.
seen
and
over
If
here
there
working
was
trying
no-
to
if
say
there-
anything,
It was
I'm
like, oh shit.
If there was
like-
no tension, there'd be no show.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Until baseball season,
What
bro.
He starts it
Like-
out. He was like, "Talk about a bigger disappointment than the Cowboys." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. The fuck is that?" Obviously,
I keep these in the
Um,
chamber. Anyway.
Naheem Hines, huh?
How about that? Some weird spiritual thing came over the field. Dude, you couldn't have asked for a better storybook start to that game. than the opening kick. And then, like I said, everybody going absolutely bonkers in the stadium. Josh Allen, the coach, Sean McDermott had to fight back tears. Like the whole place was rocking. And at that point, you knew Bill Belichick was on his way out, because I don't give a shit how close they cut it to. And people are like, well, it was a game at one point. The Bills were never losing this game. I knew that from jump. You knew there was going to be an emotional surge no matter what. And there was plays that the Patriots did make. But at the end of the day, Mac Jones is a bitch, and he misses the playoffs. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Mac Jones is a punk little boy, and it showed. It showed plenty of times throughout the course of the year that he can't handle the big moments, and he can't handle a little scrutiny. He goes out there trying to trip dudes, take out guys' legs and shit. You'll get yours, Mac. You will get yours.
Belichick said he's coming back next year, too.
Yeah,
Of course he does.
back.
He's 87 years. The guy's senile, doesn't even know what day it is at this point. He's like, I'll be back.
Bro,
Don't even worry about that
I mean,
shit.
Do you guys feel the same way as Scoop? Because a lot of people have said this. I didn't think it
Oh,
was.
Jesus
I really
Christ,
didn't. I
Scoop.
would say if I thought that.
Scoop's the kind of guy that like Googles like conspiracy theories just to watch them, just to see like, I know it.
Look.
How do you stage it?
I did say.
How
out
about
You
loud,
think of
that-
all coaches in the league, you think fucking Belichick's going to be like, all right, yeah, do that. It's
that
fine.
looked
Bullshit.
that looked I'm never the type of person to say anything is fixed in sports, right?
not in NFL?
Definitely not in the
Basketball,
NFL, but man, it didn't look like they were really chasing him that hard. But then I did see his top speed was like
Slater was trying to hawk him down.
In the first one?
No, number 18, Matthew Slater,
Yeah.
been on there forever. He wasn't going to catch him, but he was running full speed. Like two guys were kind of close.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
him. Like,
Naeem
maybe that
Hines'
guy's
top
gonna
speed was
dive,
like a cheetah.
But 18 tries to cut him down.
look, I'm not saying that anybody let him do anything. I'm
Fixed.
saying that it looked
Fixed.
very,
Sus.
very like
Then why let him do it
And-
again? By the way, that was the first ever, ready for this? Stat nugget. First ever opening kick taken to the house by the Bills at home ever. Ever.
Really? Don
Yes.
Beebe didn't
How
couldn't
about
do
that
it
shit?
once?
Crazy. What?
Don Beebe couldn't get it done
Not
once.
Not one, but he screwed
I
the
mean,
Cowboys. He screwed the Cowboys
bro,
in that fucking last. We could have set a record for
I'm about
scoring.
to. I guess I'll just say it after the show.
What?
Don't be scared now.
Like, I mean,
all right,
the tensions
all
were already
right.
high. Might as well just
All right,
fucking
all
up
right.
it.
So my curiosity now is peaked here
Uh-huh.
in terms of like, what does the actual public fucking think here? What do people think happened? Like, was it some spirits that of a guy that is still with us
Can I ask
that
you,
came down to the
do you
field
remember-
in Buffalo and
do you
returned
remember-
that kick?
Do you remember
Like,
the
it's
first?
not-
Listen, do you remember the first game after Hurricane Katrina in
Yeah, with
New
the
Orleans when they
Saints.
opened up that stadium?
Oh, when they let them
When
score
Steve
that punt?
Gleason came out of nowhere, blocked a punt, and
That
scored a
was,
touchdown.
that was like out of
Oh,
no-
so
like,
the other
no
fixed
block.
play?
But I'm saying, like these kinds of moments can happen. That's why sports is so incredible,
Oh,
man.
of course.
I just you
Dave,
can't
I
get
love
enough of
sports,
that.
Too. It's just like my
I was emotional. I don't give a
curiosity-
shit about the Bills.
My curiosity is, yeah, like all right,
Inspired
Ken,
effort. I'm with Ken.
Great point, inspired effort. But it's just it's like
I don't know who this is, but we'll talk about you.
collectively or by Naheem Hines or
I mean,
just
also it's
special teams
the
guys?
Joey E6. That's a hell of a name. So like the
I'm-
video,
I'm
by the way.
only raising
And Facebook
questions
user,
here,
whoever you are,
guys.
come on over to
I'm
YouTube
only
because I want to have a
raising- only
conversation.
raising questions here, guys.
No, listen.
I believe in any spirits that you guys also might believe in that did something.
Christians in the house. That's got to be Muniz. 3 years and 3 months since the last Bills kickoff return for a touchdown. So this is not only the first one that they've ever done
Just
to
don't
open a
even
game.
get another
It's been
one.
3 years since they've done it. So that's incredible to say the least.
I wonder.
I often wonder.
I wonder now that I'm thinking about it, it's a pretty limited amount of kickoffs you could have to open a game at home. How many teams haven't had that?
That's a good
Bills.
point. There's, no,
But
but there's probably others.
Because like
too.
you only get one opening kickoff a game, and
Uh-huh.
you only get half your games at home.
So you think there's more than one team?
I think there's several teams.
You think like the Panthers or the Jaguars or something like maybe
Like-
the Cowboys. I don't remember ever
like-
returning
like
a
it has
Cowboy.
to be
Honestly,
like-
I don't remember
it
that.
can't be any kickoff. It has to be the opening kickoff at home.
Interesting.
start a game. That's a
Very
good. That's a
interesting.
good one.
Where's Hawaii Mike when you need him?
Let's throw a
Probably
three.
knows it.
You got, you got
Yeah.
a stat for us?
All right, Jags suck.
I
Nobody
can't scoop. You
cares.
suck.
I
man.
will get a DM later from Hawaii Mike with that stat. But it'll
I'm
be
hoping- I
it'll be
wanna know. I
these are
wanna
the
know.
Teams that don't have an opening.
I'm very
kickoff.
curious. And as
at
far as
home.
like the guys saying the kicker with the effort, like he is a kicker after all. Like you're only going to see a handful of
Look,
kickers
it's
that
the
will
NFL.
throw their
It's Bill
bodies at you.
Belichick. He didn't let anybody score. All right,
Exactly.
it looked like he did, but Naheem Hines was running 29 miles an hour. All right, so everyone else looked
Exactly.
slower.
He's like a cheetah. All right. Anyway, I know I have to change the name. It's very easy, Joe. You can do it. I believe in you, buddy. All right. So moving on to the AFC South champion Jacksonville Jaguars, who are now slated to host the Chargers on Saturday night. Look, Bell was answered. Trevor Lawrence, he did miss a couple throws, but overall, he looked really good. And the defensive touchdown at the end to kind of seal this deal. I mean, look, you went in there with Dobbs. You weren't expecting much, but we expected a heavy dose of Derrick Henry, and we got that. There was a lot of carries and a lot of volume for Derrick Henry, but the Jags had an answer when it mattered the most.
Yeah, the Jacksonville's answer mainly was their run defense. I think that they played amazing on the defensive side of the ball, specifically keeping Derrick Henry in check. I don't even know.
We say check, but it's just like I don't.
No,
think
he did. They did. They 100% did.
I thought he had like a bunch of bigger carries, and he stiff armed one guy to death. My dad asked
Derrick
a question.
Henry didn't do as much as he should have done.
You guys played football. Obviously, everybody knows the rules.
Yes.
Why isn't a blatant stiff arm
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Okay.
He did break 109. I knew he broke 100, but it just wasn't one of his big days.
He should break 100.
Why is on the
Why can't
offensive
put it on the
defensive
face
line, every time somebody and you get it, it's like legal hands to the face. Why isn't when a runner is running, then you stiff arm a guy straight palm in the face?
I played running
It's
back.
not you played running back?
Running back. Receiver,
White guy running back. Look at you go.
Strong safety. Bro.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Short conference, second team, strong safety right here, 2005. Check it out. Excuse me.
Check the stats, bitch.
No, but I did. So you can put your hand, even offensive line can put your hand on somebody's face mask. You cannot grab or go up. You can push, but once they see this or this, it's penalty.
Okay. Yeah, and if you keep it, you could touch, but if you keep it there and you
can't.
push, like it's going to be called.
It seems like Rob is basically Peyton Hillis. That's not. And shout out, listen, Peyton Hillis right now is fighting for his life as well. So he just saved his kids from drowning. So Peyton Hillis, Lord,
Good
God
joke,
bless you.
Scoop.
All that stuff. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
It's such a bad person, Scoop.
Let's talk about the Jaguars Chargers, though. That is a game that, like, AFC, this is a year sooner than we thought we would see something like this with Lawrence
and Herbert. Yeah, no, it's a great matchup.
Kids to be first time in the playoffs, both of them.
It's tight according to the NBC model. We're watching a half hour at the end of the first quarter. They go back to the booth or the studio, and this dweeb is on the floor. Like
they have like Bill
27% chance here.
Bill
Nye.
Nye.
What the fuck
Bill
am I watching
Nye,
here?
basically.
What are you
Bill
saying
Nye
to
doing
me?
it?
It could have been
What?
honestly. Bill Nye was.
It might have been him.
He's wearing like dunks.
Right.
You know, like Nike dunks.
It might have been him.
Get off
I'm like,
your
what is he doing over
Get
there?
off my TV, dude. I'm trying to watch the second half.
Like they got a 33.444% chance.
You know
I'm
what
like,
I was thinking
in
at
the
that
shit?
moment? I'm watching this guy give his playoff model, and I'm like, Dan Campbell's fucking really laying into them right now. Probably they're gonna come out hard. In the
Speaking
second
of
half.
Joey's coming in saying the ticket prices are crazy. I can get you free tickets, Joey, if you're a decent human being. I know a guy down there. His name's Tony Khan. Bro, did you see him?
I have a picture. I posted it.
I know. I talked to Kevin.
I put the
I
message.
talked to Kevin Matthews last night, and he's like, man, that must have been a lot of coffee. I'm like, yeah, coffee.
Yeah, coffee, sure.
Definitely
I told you what
coffee.
time the guy gets off work.
Yeah, bro. Khan was out there hugging mother effers.
Okay, the 49ers.
Oh man, you just like to blow through this show. I'm having a good
first
time.
of all, we were on the fucking Titans Jags for 40 minutes.
That's a good conversation. But anyway, we will pick those games on.
And you went to this
Thursday,
game that we
Friday.
could skip in 3 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say, way to drop a bomb.
I went to the next game.
So next
Shit.
game, the Niners clinched the 2 seed. They'll be hosting the Seattle Seahawks, who got in on the happenstance. But look again, sound game out of Brock Purdy, no mistakes.
Yeah.
Only threw the ball 20 times, 3 touchdowns. So him and Kittle seem to connect every single week. The 49ers team, I think, is the best team going in as the NFC. Call me crazy. I don't think the Eagles are the better team. I think the 49ers are a better team than the Eagles. And I think, obviously, the Packers would have given them a run, I think. I think that would have been a better game in San Francisco. Now you got Seattle in there who are, look, they've outkicked their coverage. They played a really good season. You got good stories out of Geno and Kenneth Walker and all that shit. But when push comes to shove, those 49ers are humming right now. And there's no reason why they're not in the discussion to be in the Super Bowl this year. And I picked the 49ers way back when. My early prediction is still in there. Okay, the Niners and the Dolphins, even the Dolphins aren't going to do much. But the Niners, I said, those guys are well-rounded enough to make a run. That defense is incredible. And shout out to J.J. Watt, your favorite player, Chris, for his final game. And
He gets a
he's
sack
done.
too, doesn't he? He got a sack.
I'm not sure if he got
Yeah,
a sack.
I saw.
Yeah, so but he walks off in
10
triumph.
10 touchdowns in 11 games
He got a
since they got
sack.
Christian McCaffrey. Is Christian McCaffrey one of the biggest in-season trades?
Yeah.
in
that
the
I've
past
seen,
like
yeah.
15 years.
I know the Rams acquired
Von Miller
last year. He made an immediate impact. They went to the Super Bowl and won it. But
This kid's been there 11 games now, though.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't
So
know
this
how
guy
long
has
and
scored
then
every
what.
time. I mean, it's like every time the ball is in his hands,
He does something.
he does something
Use them the
special.
way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I
use
mean,
them.
it's definitely one of the top 3.
Tell me a
No
defense
question
that
about it.
in the NFC
Without even knowing any other one off the top
Yeah,
of my
because
head
it doesn't
besides
happen a
Von
lot
Miller.
in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Tell me I'm going to be the one to say it. I think the 49ers will ultimately lose in the playoffs because of they could be a Super Bowl team, yes, but I think ultimately because of the fact that Brock Purdy's going to make a rookie mistake at some point. You got to assume the guy is not flawless. He's not Tom Brady. I just don't think that I don't know. You know, you're waiting for that shoe to drop. You're waiting for that thing to happen. And again, I know 49ers fans, Tony's in the room. He's a big Niner guy. He's not expecting that to happen. He thinks that they can ride the Purdy train all the way to fucking Arizona for the Super Bowl. But I'm waiting for it.
I think that the way that they run their offense, they're not asking him to do much, you know. So could he make play mistake-free football? Yeah, I think he can. If you're just dinking and dunking and you have the weapons that they have, the running game that they have, the defense that they have, you know, the thing about the 49ers is they're forcing teams to make mistakes. So if he makes a mistake or two here or there, like that's the one team that could kind of cover it up a little bit. CMC underneath, like how hard is that?
It's not.
You know, like
you know what? If it was what's his guy? If it was Jimmy G, it'd be the same shit. And look, again, I'm not trying to put the poo-poo on all this momentum and success, but like, you know, Giovanni coming in here saying, what? Losing the playoffs? Hell no. I mean, yeah, hell yeah, you did it last year. You lost in the playoffs. That shit's possible. So it's not like I'm not trying to like reinvent the wheel. Look, I'm saying it could happen. Stidham
led Raiders just took you to overtime, so it's doable. I understand that there was probably a different type of get up for that game. You know, the 49ers getting up for a playoff game or getting up for Jared Stidham in the Raiders. I think it's a different element. The locker room is a lot different going into that one.
Danny's bringing up a good point as far as the 49ers is concerned. He goes, a team that can rush 4 will put an end to this, because then you could spy a guy like a McCaffrey and you could spy a guy and you can start playing those zones in the tighter zones.
There's the hope that the team that could rush 4, they lose. Like that's the hope. But there's like that could be the reason why they lose if a team could rush 4, but do it. You know, like do it.
Well, no, they can't. These teams are unable to. So, like, even look at a Cardinals team, even with JJ Watt and
what
company.
Danny's trying to say is the Eagles could rush 4, so we could beat them.
The Cowboys could rush 4.
You know,
the Cowboys have rushed 4 all year round. So it's like, yeah, no, these teams can rush 4, but until you can do it, they haven't done it. And I know it's as simple as it gets. But the Niners, they're playing all world right now, man. Yeah. Both sides of the ball. The defense is incredible. What's this guy? He's a fucking machine. Bosa's a goddamn animal.
The 49ers, anybody in the playoffs right now, if you're a team that's in the postseason in the NFC and you're not matched up against San Fran, you're hoping they lose.
That's a good point.
That's why no bullshit. That's why I wanted Green Bay in, because I thought they matched up best on the 2-7 spot. On the 2-7 spot, I thought Green Bay would have been a better contest. Yeah. I think the Niners handle Seattle, and then the Niners will be waiting for either. Shit, man. It's either going to be the Cowboys, the Bucks, or the Giants.
49ers match up good against everybody.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, listen, anybody, and you got to give Kyle his flowers. He was on Brock Purdy since like last year, dude.
He was. He was very excited about Mr. Irrelevant getting drafted. Game that didn't matter much. Russ played. They got the win. The Chargers. The only thing I'll say about this game in particular is the fact that Staley, their coach, is a buffoon, bro. Like, dude, he's got his starters in there all the way through. Like, what are we doing here, bro? You weren't going to move at all based off the 1 o'clock slot. You knew it already. You knew it. And now Mike Williams is hurt again. Like, you guys can't do that. First of all, his management of Austin Eckler is abysmal, because I've actually watched that closely this year. How many times that dude's off the field is ridiculous to me, because he's the best player on the field when he's there. But when I'm talking about now Mike Williams potentially to miss some time, that's it. You're a one. You got to go win the game in Jacksonville. And I don't know, without Mike Williams, I don't know if Justin Herbert can get this done.
This game is nothing at all to them?
0, bro. After the 1 o'clock slot was done, you knew that they were going to be a certain seed.
This game is a coin flip. As long as the 2 quarterbacks are playing, I think it's going to obviously affect them. But Mike Williams hasn't played well down the stretch anyway. Maybe his presence helps them. But it's been Keenan Allen.
AJ said it. All I want is for Mike Williams to be a top 10 receiver, but Staley wants him dead. Like, that's the truth. It's amazing to me. Same thing with McCarthy. Same thing with all these coaches that had their starters deep into the game.
But
it's like you knew this shit was done,
I feel
bro.
like
the Vikings.
You can make
Dalvin
the case
Cook gets
that
hurt.
Staley
Sauce
wants him
Gardner got
dead,
hurt in,
but
like, the fourth
really,
quarter
like,
yesterday.
what does it have to
Well,
do
they weren't
with
making
him?
the playoffs. So it
Mike
doesn't matter.
Williams has been boomer
He'll be fine.
bust since last year. Last year he had a bunch of starts where he was the top 3 finish at his position in fantasy, and then he had about 5 or 6 where he wasn't even in the top 50. So he was either boom or bust. And this year, I don't know. I don't think he lived up to his contract one bit. You could blame the coach, but Mike Williams, eventually you're going to have to start looking at him.
You got
as
2 guys that are making 20 mil, so one of them's got to go.
The Jets will take
It ain't going to be Keenan
Jets will
Allen.
take- Cowboys will
Keenan
take it.
Allen's.
Hey, look who it is.
So
Look who it is.
unfortunately,
Don't want to talk about this game.
the Pittsburgh
Bro,
Steelers.
I do not care. I don't even know why I wouldn't want to. Did I say something
You
bad about?
swore Tomlin wasn't going to come back all year and go.
My guy,
I don't care.
Mike
week.
Tomlin.
Every
I
week.
told you.
So
I
the
told
most
you they play hard
incredibly
for him.
average coach in the NFL history, right?
Oh man, can't give the
Yes.
guy credit.
I mean, it's like
I'll give him
I'm
credit.
sorry.
He gets the most out of his
Every
players, but
year,
he's an average football
there's
mind.
32 teams and one team wins the Super Bowl. If you were a Super Bowl winning head coach, you did something right in your career. How many coaches have entered the league and not won? A lot. How many have won? 57 or whatever the fuck we're
This
at.
year he wasn't.
And we got
supposed
doing 50 because
to be.
Belichick won 7 of them. But like,
Bro, they were 3-7 on Thanksgiving.
Okay,
so
so
dead to rights.
we pick certain things to measure certain. Look, he hasn't won a playoff game since
That's
the year that they lost the Super Bowl to the Packers. They have not won a playoff game since then. So he's been there a lot, but they lose every year in the first round. To me, you give him the other guys would have been fired. I think Pittsburgh just gives a really long
Joey's
leash.
on your side, bro.
Pittsburgh gives a really long leash to their coaches, but a guy that doesn't get it done in the playoffs for years, the only reason why he even has the opportunity to put up these cumulative stats is because Pittsburgh doesn't fire head coaches. They've had 3 since my father was a child. He's 70 today. Happy birthday, Dad,
Oh, happy
by the
birthday,
way.
Mr. Gooch. I forgot about
Use
that. I saw that on
opportunity
Facebook.
while I bash Mike Tomlin's career to say happy birthday, Dad.
Listen, you're right in that regard. The Steelers are infamous for holding on to guys for dear life, but there's got to be something to be said about
There's
not
something
having a
to be
losing
said for
season.
it. He's incredibly above average head coach, but he's not a Hall of Famer to me. I think I'll say what I think about Tomlin. I think he gets the absolute most out of his players. He's a good players coach until he's not, because you could ask a lot of other former players about him and they don't like him, but you could make the case that Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, those guys were a little nuts. But he hasn't done much in terms of playoff success outside of the early going. But a lot of that was Bruce Arians on that staff, I do believe. Bruce Arians on that staff, I'm pretty sure.
I will have
So-
to bring this up because we
Average.
talk
I mean,
about
we don't
all.
have to. It's
Bad
no,
football
we
players.
do
because
I
it-
think it is.
yeah.
I see it 3 times in the chat.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to pull it
yeah.
up.
I mean, look,
Do you want me to put regular screen?
heat of the
Regular
moment.
screen?
No,
Or you
no,
wanna
you
talk
can
about
just
the
leave it.
rest
Yeah,
of it?
heat
Okay.
of the moment. Celebration with the Steelers on a play. There was a guy that looked like he was completely gassed. Somebody went up to him and gave him fake CPR in the field. It's in terrible taste. It's in terrible timing. But you know what? I've seen that
A million times.
a million times.
Yeah.
It's just
Every
like,
sport.
every sport, specifically football.
Put it this
I've
way.
seen it.
When I'm
Guys,
seeing-
they do it in Madden. I
I'm
don't know if
giving-
anybody knows
I'm
that.
giving-
It's a Madden
I'm giving
celebration.
everybody the
So
pass
that
on the
I have to
field
give him the
for
pass.
for the first offense. Everybody gets the pass originally.
I have to. Yeah, I'm giving
and
this guy
honestly,
the pass.
bro, we're talking about the fucking NFL here. I'm like,
Thank you.
right? We are talking about the NFL. We want savages. We want beasts. We want guys that don't care. Miss me with like, oh, show class. Okay, after the game, shake hands. But on the field, do what you got to do. I don't think anybody's looking at that. Like, it didn't affect nobody. Nobody got hurt by it. It's a celebration.
Oh, people on in the internet world got heard about it,
bro.
I mean, and again, like I said,
imagine being
it's
one
a
of those
Madden
people.
celebration,
Imagine being
guys.
one-
Like it is
Like,
something
so
that's
pissed
already.
Can you imagine being like I'm so mad that this guy did that. The fuck do you care what he
But
did?
they weren't mad 3 weeks ago when they seen it from every team. From
Right.
Sacks,
It's
like,
one of those,
You know what I mean?
again, one of those celebrations that we've seen time and time again. That's why in the moment, I guarantee you, when that guy got up, he was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it is what it is, bro. Like,
You know what I mean?
it's-
Like, he
how about
knew.
the guy that it happened to? You fall on the ground and he's like, "What the fuck, dude?
That's true.
What are you doing to me?"
That's true.
Or they're both scumbags.
Ready?
Possible.
This game killed my whole.
The Bucks are
parlay.
backing into the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. They stink. They lose a game, a pointless, meaningless game. They're locked into the floor. again, we saw a little bit of Desmond Ridder. We got to see a little bit more of Drake London. We got some Young Wei Koo. We got a whole bunch of offense and Tyler Algier. So the Falcons look to end their season on a high note, and they do. The Bucs now lose. Tom Brady left the game when it was 10-10. So clearly they didn't give a shit about the end of this game. So that's why I think all three of us picked Atlanta in this game because of that fact. We knew that they was locked in. The spread was weird. It was just like this game is Atlanta should win it, and they should win it outright, and they did. So I'm not on that one. One seed was locked down. The number one seed in the AFC was locked down with the Chiefs destroying the Raiders on Saturday night. Now, there's one play that happened. I'm sure everybody knows exactly what play I'm alluding to, and it's probably the funnest thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, if I'm the Raiders,
I seen it.
Am I like trying to take a head off after the next play? Like they did the carousel thing, they all lined up, and then they scored on that play that was called back on a holding by Kadarius Toney, and then Toney scored anyway.
I think it was corny. I think like if I was in the huddle, I'd be like, I gotta fucking play ring around the rosy.
Doesn't want to be involved.
I would be very, very, very annoyed with my coach for putting that play in. I'd be like, come on, bro, this is, But if there is one, I'm gonna pause here. It's a very Jackson Mahomes-esque play, we'll say. All right.
Do you think it was a trick TikTok trending?
Like you would think that you would be just saw this play in the World Cup.
You think he was in the front row like, Patrick, run it,
It seems like how they would set up a free kick.
Do the thingy.
It seems like how they would set up a free
like
kick.
Like fucking Braun Strowman, bro.
Soccer. It seems like Juju designed this play.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the fact is they practiced this play more than once. This play was practiced.
So imagine being a beat writer at practice.
Spin, guys.
Like, well, it looks like Patrick's got a couple reps, and what the fuck are they doing?
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
They're just running around in a circle, creating a dust fucking thing.
They practiced that in the locker room. They didn't want people to see that.
So bad, bro. That was so bad, so cringeworthy. But look, the Chiefs are handling everybody. They scored and they got called back because the refs were like, "Nah, fuck that." Tony's getting a flag. What? What happened? What did I miss?
I don't know. I'll talk after the show again.
Ring around the posy.
Canceled. Done.
Who got canceled?
No, me. I might.
Oh, don't get canceled. Not yet.
Mahomes,
you got a big week. Anyway.
All right, next game.
No, here we go. Nobody cares. 10-7, Panthers over the Saints. Saints end on a losing note. Saints did themselves no favors because that is the Philadelphia Eagles pick, so they move up a little bit, so that sucks. So appreciate you, Saints, for showing up last week and not this week. And I think this guy has coached himself into a permanent role. From everything that I've read, this guy's – I don't think they're going to –
coach, you mean?
They might not interview. Like, they might just give this guy the job.
Well, they played really well.
They played inspired football throughout the entire year, right? I mean,
he's definitely over 500 from stepping in.
I mean, this is the same team that hired Matt Rule to be their head coach, so they haven't.
The Steelers pick now that they got from the Bears is technically the 32nd pick in the NFL because
33rd,
the Dolphins don't have
33rd. Yeah,
the Dolphins don't have a first round pick.
Oh wow, so it is 32.
Yeah.
Good call.
Wow. And let's think about how bad of a trade that was.
Oh
for the Bears.
God.
This is why.
But dude, he's Chase Claypool, and he's like a top 10 receiver in football.
Also, what's going to happen when Justin Fields gets traded because they draft Bryce Young?
Bro, they're not trading Justin Fields.
Oh, really?
Stop that nonsense, bro. Who are they going to trade Justin Fields to? The Texans?
Why not?
Whoever the fuck else would take
Dude, it's not that Justin Fields is a bad quarterback. They just you got to figure out how to make the kid throw. The Rams, you don't think McVay?
You know who they trade him to?
He's about to quit.
Anyone that's not a fucking Bears, anyone not the Bears want Justin Fields because we've had him and we know he can't throw.
So then why in the blue hell would anybody be like, we do?
Somebody will.
Like, come on. If he stinks at quarterback like you say he does, what's the point? Shout out to the Bears, by the way. Man, oh man.
Because
I think Fields is good, and I think they had the number one overall pick.
Pictures of like all the general managers in football, and you tell me what half of them look like.
I don't know.
Very stupid. A lot of them look stupid, Dave. You see the Texans GM?
He looks like a buffoon. Yeah. Well, he's a piece of shit anyway. Texans have been completely.
Geno Smith is now your all-time Seahawks leading passer for yards.
Fired their coach.
Who?
The Cardinals.
Woo! Kingsbury gone.
Where's he going to go? Wherever Jim Harbaugh goes now, Cliff Kingsbury will go there.
He'll go coach Michigan.
He'll swap, right? Cliff Kingsbury's going to have a job tomorrow in college. 100%.
Oh, you know, Sean Payton.
Wow,
Arizona,
good
maybe?
call. Breaking news here from A5 from downtown. So Kingsbury gets fired. We haven't get to talk about the Cardinals yet. Yeah, we did with the JJ Watt thing, but we kind of knew that was coming.
Kingsbury should just he's probably going to get paid so much to just not coach now.
He's going to be like an analyst.
I'll be like, I'm going to go in the booth. I'm going to take a year off. all the good,
and he's going
all
to
the good
slay as
programs,
much as he wants.
all the good programs have a coach right now. Like, what's the best coaching job?
But I'm saying, if a Harbaugh does leave,
Colorado, why not be an offensive coordinator for a year? It's the biggest thing he could do.
I mean,
it's what Saban does to everybody, to Ben O'Brien, and all those
because
guys.
he could get paid all that Cardinals money. They just fired him, and then they got to buy him out. It's not like the players, like you're guaranteed that money as a coach. There's a buyout involved, so he could just sit out a little bit, enjoy life, and then pick your job as all the college season unfolds a little bit. You're going to see all these good programs open up.
Well, you said that there's no good coaching positions open right now because all the big programs have a coach. But I'm saying if Jim Harbaugh does leave, they need somebody.
I don't know if he fits there.
I don't know if he fits there either, though.
Michigan.
Did Jim Harbaugh fit there when he first got there?
He went there.
I understand that, but I'm saying, like, I don't know, like, who actually fits unless you're alma mater? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, it is Michigan, bro. Like, they're fucking weird with that shit.
Don't be shocked
if
like
Texas a Big Ten style.
Year.
Like, it's different. College is different. You can't just insert a style into an offense. Like, they haven't been recruiting that way for a while. It would.
Yeah. Well, Seahawks are in the playoffs. And who the hell
also,
did he beat out?
Probably stays.
Wait, Geno Smith's the all-time Seahawks passer for a season?
Yeah, leading passer. Yeah.
Who did he beat out?
Russell Wilson, probably.
Oh, fuck. That's right. Wow.
Wrong,
how did I fucking
Steve DeBerg?
Steve DeBerg.
How about Pete Carroll for coach of the year? What do you guys think about that?
No, not even a fucking chance.
Pete Carroll sucks.
All right.
I hate Pete Carroll.
I'm just asking.
Oh, I hate Pete Carroll.
I just don't like him.
The Bengals, no coin flip needed,
but
folks.
Maybe, but no.
They get themselves a win over the third string quarterback with the Ravens. There is not a lot of optimism around Baltimore thinking that this kid's going to come. Lamar Jackson's going to play next week. That's a thing. He could be ruled out, and you might have to go to Huntley. And it's odd enough. I think there's enough tape on Huntley where he's been figured out too. Last year, he came in like a gangbuster, and he went nuts, right? He absolutely lit the world on fire and said, I'm okay. I'll be the next Lamar for the time being, blah, blah, blah. Now he comes in. He can be beat. He can be got. The Ravens just look in disarray right now. I think Joe Cool runs over these guys.
How much do you think of it as Lamar is really, really hurt, or Lamar is saying, you should have paid me, and maybe I'll play at 80%. It's the playoffs, dude.
That's not a bad take.
Because there's a video of him talking to John, right? It's John Harbaugh. Maybe it's like 2 weeks. I'll find it. They're like on the side, like talking, and he all you hear him say is, I want to go sit down. I want to go sit down. Like John's talking to him, like joking around. He's like, I'm just gonna go sit down. Like he didn't want nothing.
I don't buy it. I don't buy into that because I think Lamar's a good
when there's
teammate.
smoke, there's fire.
And like, he wants to get paid.
Yeah, he wants to get paid, but they're also out there. You know, like you want to get paid, but you have to have respect in your locker room. And if there's defensive players that don't give a fuck about Lamar's contract, like they understand it and they understand what he's going to do, but don't do that. Like if you're going to be here, be here. If not, hold the fuck out.
Justify RG3 though. He played hurt. Not.
I mean, that coaching staff
ruined them.
Dumb.
Very different. I think. Look. That was a decision that was made in game. Also, like lining him up. RG3 could have easily sat out, but he was legitimately injured.
That was a playoff game, though.
Yeah, but he was legitimately injured. Where if you're saying Lamar is maybe not legitimately injured and he's sitting out, I think that would be a very bad look.
I can't say the word, but injured. But I don't know if it's as 100%. Like,
can you actually justify? Can you guys justify?
Yeah.
Paying this guy guaranteed money after what the Browns are about to go through? Because Deshaun Watson had plenty of time to get acclimated with that offense, and he looks like
I think
shit.
too much is getting made.
But I'm talking about guaranteed money.
Too much is getting made about the guaranteed, I think, because if he doesn't get fully guaranteed, what are they going to save? $20 million in guaranteed? Like he's going to get damn near all of it guaranteed, regardless. If you want to just say for like the sake of it, not guaranteed. But he's going to get a record deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would have to at least match record deal, no matter where he goes.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on the record and say, and just based off of the events that we've just watched, if any sport in the world should have guaranteed money, it should be football.
Yeah, well,
it should be football.
That's a fact.
Like these guys could die. Like immediately, it almost happened. So it's like let's guarantee these contracts.
It's not like the owners.
It's just ridiculous how
you want to get into the brass tacks of how bad it actually is. And the Bills owner is worth like $7 billion. He could pay for pension for every former NFL player in history 10 times over and wouldn't even notice it. And that's just one owner.
No, I'm not talking about there should be a salary cap, but I'm talking about all money needs to be guaranteed.
Okay, well, of course it
and readjust everything as follows.
These guys insurance for their careers.
Not. They collectively bargain it. They collectively bargain for what they have right now. And the players sign off on it. And that, like the problems are, it's so much deeper. Like the players right now, they're trying to take care of themselves for right now. they're fucking over the previous players and they're fucking over their future selves by like collectively bargaining mainly for players' rights right now.
Yes.
And it's not even the guaranteed money. The owners have them really in a tough spot year in, year out. And the thing about the owners is they have the ability to play the long game. Like, and I'm not going to compare this to like diplomacy or countries. And,
No, but you're right, though.
Think China NFL owners, like they're playing a different game, right? They're playing the long game, where if you're an NFL player, you have to capitalize on your career, right? So the owners are going to own the team long before and after these players are there. So they could be like, you know what, we'll give you a little here, but we're going to take from this every time we give a little to the current player. And then by the time the current player is out of the league, the new current player is now doing the same thing, and they're fucking over the former player and the future former player.
That's a good breakdown. That is a good breakdown. And that's
true,
kind of where we're at in the NFL. I think it's, again, something they can't collectively bargain until the new one's done. But like, and at that point, maybe there will be enough, and I'm not rooting for it, but knock on wood, maybe there will be enough injuries in the NFL where guys aren't stepping on the field anymore. You know, like, look, think about it. Guys are retiring a lot earlier than normal because of the fact it's like, dude, I'm going to cash out now,
bro.
Because if I go out there and try to play again, I could be a fucking rat.
There's probably maybe 25 guys that got injured in an NFL game this season whose lives are completely ruined for the rest of their
More
lives
than
that we're not even talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
And in a way, now it wasn't as public, but it's the NFL is not doing shit for these guys. They're not guaranteeing their fully fucking guaranteed contracts, even though they were IR'd. So not to get too far off the beaten path when it comes to the games, but there's a 3-hour special that we could do on this because I could go on and on and
well,
on.
Ken's bringing up a good point, and that is the truth. The Bills and the NFLPA did the right thing with Hamlin. They're paying him his full salary. Sadly, he isn't vested yet, so no benefits unless they renegotiate. That's the crazy part. Like, you got to be in the league 3 or 4 years to be vested, and that's nuts.
Yeah, but Warren Sapp talks about it all the time. Like, he's in the Hall of Fame, obviously, right? Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
After like
Is he?
a certain amount of years, they don't even get. They have to get like their own insurance. The NFL doesn't pay for
I mean, why do you think some of these guys wind up
like
like car
Social
salesmen, bro? Like, think
Bro,
about these guys post football.
So
like, some of these guys are
post-career,
struggling
I'll
right
give you
now.
a number. So post-career, the NFL, post-career former NFL players, 15% of them qualify for Social Security benefits. 15%. And guess what? The NFL even thinks that number should be smaller because they fight every single one of the cases that get approved. They have their own team of independent
How
doctors
could
that
they do
will
that?
go against what the government says,
Ugh.
and then they litigate, and then they lose because the NFL doesn't stop fighting.
But what you say makes the most sense is that when players sit down to negotiate every time there's a new CBA or whatever, it's always for, well, we'll take care of right now and we'll let the next guys in 6 years worry about.
And they have to, but the owners are like
it's gotta be
knowing
like, no, we
full
wanna
well,
take
like,
care
okay,
of
we'll
forever.
play the long game because the owners
They
are trying
can.
to, and like, look at the point that it's at now. It's coming to a head though, because
they gotta start worrying about players gotta start worrying about long term. You gotta start worrying about your brothers, your sisters that are coming in this league
Yeah.
in 10 years, 20 years, so they can protect.
And you know what? We're all going to be sitting here watching, rooting for our teams going forward. Like, that's not going to change. So it's like it's just a bad, broken system.
guarantee Lamar's money, right, Dave?
Everybody's money.
Everybody's money.
Not just Lamar. Like, Lamar plays
Lamar
a specific
setting the
style of
trends.
football
I
where
hope
you
Lamar is
he's
spearheads
chasing the
movement.
right thing based off the fact of how he plays the game. He's chasing the right thing. He knows that his career can go up and smoke tomorrow.
And then they're like,
Just based off of how he
they're
plays.
like RPO Lamar, but we don't want to pay you because it's like
It's
a
like fucking,
dangerous.
it's a Debo
like-
thing. The Debo effect. That shit was put in his contract. No, with carries,
Yeah.
specific carries. He's like, yeah, no, every carry after this, you're paying me more.
Talk about
like,
a guy that had a quiet year, huh?
All right, Lovey Smith.
Debo?
Debo, not that loud.
Nah, it wasn't that loud. You're right.
But Lovie Smith is out too.
Lovie Smith fired yesterday for winning a football game. That's the story.
Well, the
That's
story,
true.
Here's the truth. They were like all leading up to the game. They were like, well, Lovey Smith is out after the game, and Lovey Smith is fired after the game. He's like, okay, watch this fucking 2-point conversion in that second
If
pick.
that was a thing, they
They're
should have
still
fired
gonna-
him prior.
If the Bears
Because you
don't-
know damn well they were going to play for it.
if the Bears, arguably the biggest win Lovey Smith ever had as a Bears coach,
Right
as
now,
as a Bear,
as
I
a
saw
Houston
that-
Texan coach.
saw
Yeah,
that on some.
yeah. No, it was a funny little
That's
meme scheme.
hilarious.
But look, they could have lost this game multiple times. When they scored a touchdown at the end of the game, they went for 2. I said it to my dad. I said, "Do you think if they score, they're going to go for 2 because they just go for gusto, but then like take a knee?" You know, he goes, "They would never be able to live that down."
They would. First of all, the owners and the GM was like, we should have fucking fired him before the game. So
That's what I just told you. I
Well, look
just
how
said
they
that.
hired him anyway. It was like It was supposed to go like Leftwich or somebody else or somebody.
No, it could have went
Smith was not the guy you were hearing.
the guy that got fired, Madden generic coach number 4. He should
Like
have
he was
fucking
literally,
stayed.
they literally hired
David
him
Collier.
to tank. They were like,
Oh shit. He was like,
you
yeah,
know,
watch this tank.
God,
they were
damn.
like, damn, like they're giving us a lot of heat about race relations and shit. Like we're just gonna hire a black head coach, right? And then fire him after the year.
And guess what? Rooney Rule coming right back at you. So you're gonna have to do it all over again. So what
So-
the fuck is the point?
So the question that I raised about this game, not to talk about it even more than one more second, but Justin Fields, if the Bears do believe in Justin Fields and they don't draft a quarterback, which I think they might not believe in Justin Fields, then it won't affect them anyway.
Well, I
because
said
they're
that
not
too.
going to draft a quarterback.
I said that too.
apparently.
However, I did say that. I said, what difference does it make? The Bears aren't drafting a quarterback, so the Texans will get their pick of the crop.
You don't
But-
think you think that there's no way the Bears draft a
Zero
quarterback?
chance. But what I will say is, look at the
Very
haul.
good chance.
Look at the haul you could potentially get for that pick.
That's my
Think
point.
about
I
the
get
team.
yours.
Listen to me. Think about the team they just
Here's
beat, the Colts. They're sitting there 5, 6, right? The Colts need a quarterback in the worst way. You're telling me the Colts will say, "I'll give you my first this year, and my second next year, my second the year after that, and my third the year after that."
First and second
But
this year.
For the
Either
first
way,
fucking pick in the
somebody
draft,
But you don't think that they would do it for the second pick if the Bears don't want the quarterback? Same thing.
the Texans aren't trading out.
else. Texans need a quarterback.
Texans aren't trading
Man.
out.
So
The
then
Bears will.
But they would have traded the second pick too. It would have been no different.
Wait, no.
Right?
I'm
There's
talking
two
about right
quarterbacks.
now. Yeah, no, I know, but like if the for whatever reason the Texans covet one and they want one, Bryce Young, that's their guy, 100%. The only way you can get him technically is if you're the first pick in the draft, guaranteed. So anybody else can jump them. So the idea of them not thinking that, oh well, the Texans, don't worry, the Bears, they don't need a quarterback, so they won't draft a quarterback. Whoever wants to jump the Texans will do so with a haul for
Yeah,
the Bears.
yeah.
So the Bears will stockpile.
But the real story here is that there's no reason why a coach, knowing he's going to get fired after the game, would tank for a team that he won't be on next year. Right?
The game's aside. The
Yeah.
game. I'm Team Lovey on this one. I'm like, yo, win the fucking game, then, man. If they're firing you, go out a winner.
What are you supposed
Sure.
to do? Yeah.
Yes, you win a football game. They did that.
How about
But what I'm
you're
saying
a
is,
coach in the NFL, you should be trying to win anyway.
yes, 100%. So what I'm saying is, the Texans have put themselves in a spot now where the Bears get the one, and now the Bears can potentially get a haul. Remember, the Bears gave away one of their picks, early picks, their second round pick for fucking Chase Claypool. They can get that back tenfold. You know what I'm saying? They can get back a lot of guys. A lot of teams are going to be coveting for one of these quarterbacks, and the Texans are the team to jump now. And the Texans are dumb as rocks, so they'll just settle for whoever.
Remember, we all know how this works. By the time draft season comes, there'll be 4 more QBs.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's will be guys like Zach Wilson who came onto the scene at the very end, like towards draft day, like, oh, by the way, this guy's the guy. Let's get this guy. Like, no. don't
Speaking
get
of
that guy.
Justin Fields, he didn't play in this one.
No, he did not. And the Vikings finished off the Chicago Bears season in which they got the first pick. The Vikings needed something like this, I think, to go into the playoffs with a little bit of momentum, not a lot, considering the fact that their point differential might have actually evened out with this game, to be honest with you. So a blowout win kind of probably evens them out for the year. But the Vikings, I think, are frauds.
Was the Bears GM just hired?
I remember he said he was going to run the North.
Yeah.
Weren't they both GMs?
Did he draft Justin Fields?
Did he get fired?
No.
Oh,
Neither of those guys did that.
I'm just
right?
saying we talk a lot about like regime change and it's not their guy. He didn't
Susan.
draft Justin Fields.
Justin Fields was a rookie last year, right?
He was
Then he drafted him.
wasn't he the GM change this year?
No, I thought it was, well, if the GM changed, it was going into, yeah, I don't know.
I'll look for you.
I don't know.
Check that. Yeah, I think it might have been this year, but it could be last year because
I mean, that dude went real confident. Remember the press conference? Like, we will run the North. Watch us.
it
We
could
will
be
come.
last year. I'm
Here
thinking
come
of
the
being
Bears.
in this
Ah,
room,
it's like,
but we
what?
were in
Like,
this room preseason last year
what?
too when they were talking about it, so it could just be
we were
could
talking
be
about
the
it here.
weed.
Yeah, and then
He's only 36.
no, I definitely a young dude, and from
So
everything,
then it
that,
would have made him a 34-year-old GM if it was 2 years ago.
my God, you
January 25th, 2022 is when they named him. So this year they named
So yeah,
him.
he didn't.
he didn't draft
Fields.
Justin Fields. Interesting. The plot thickens, ladies and
He's
gentlemen.
young, dude.
And just like let's call it how it is. When a new coach, Eberflus isn't going anywhere,
He
right?
did trade for Claypool though.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Gave up the pick, which would have been a first round pick.
That
now
is a good
anyway.
point.
So,
I will say this, and I lost my train of thought because that was a really good point. It's like he might be smarter than people think, and like I've traded a second round pick for Chase Claypool.
They need
It's
a
like,
lot of
Well,
help.
according to Rube, Claypool's an alien.
Truth. Yeah.
So-
No, Rube's probably doing cartwheels with the number 1 pick, but now what you get back for it is another thing. Or they could just go draft. You can't draft a receiver number 1 overall. So it's like, go build your offensive line, maybe. I don't
Trade
know.
Justin Fields, right, for half the amount of picks they gave up for him, and they're going to draft C.J. Stroud, and he's going to be another bust Ohio State quarterback. No, I think Stroud might be good.
What's the standings? Did anybody go over 500?
Robert.
My question.
Bohannon, congratulations. You have won the regular season. 131-26. You could take your flowers or bow. He's going in front of the camera, ladies and gentlemen. He's bowing in front of the camera. My God. So yes, he has won the picks.
Over 500 still?
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
5 games over. Gooch, you finished 3 games under 500. I finished 7 games under 500. So we clearly had some hard times in the beginning.
What you guys can't see is I have a bingo thing over here, and I pick teams out of it. So it's just so you know.
Yeah, there's no
It's all
actual
just
logic
made
that goes
up.
behind the picks here. But yes, Rob has won the regular season. We will double down
I
and
wanna
go. We will go
shout
double
out
down
Sam.
and play in the playoffs.
Sam rode me the whole way.
Everybody's congratulating him now.
Figuratively,
Jesus
figuratively,
Christ.
thank you
The
guys very
trophy has
much.
been presented. Wrestling Rob came out of the depths of hell because my dude was like literally 20 games under 500. He went on a surge. He
It's
went
not
on a
over. It's
surge.
still like we're gonna count the playoffs.
Yeah,
We're gonna go all the way through. Why not?
I mean,
right?
yeah, let's pick all. Obviously, we're going to pick all the way
No,
through.
but
So
like add it too, because over 500 is pretty good for the whole season.
No,
Even
playoffs
the
is, we're zero.
that means
zero.
technically you would
won.
won money.
You won. We're 0-0. I don't want to fucking.
All right, so we're going playoffs now. We're going to reset and see if Rob can go 2 for 2 and win the regular season and the
Also,
postseason.
I was eliminated from the playoffs yesterday, so
So it's funny, like we walk in today, and I'm just like, you think about these things, and I do. I do think about what will you say to Chris when you first see him?
But me, I texted Dave right away. I'm like,
Yeah, no, you
what,
texted
do
me
we-
a meme
do
or
we
something.
fucking- what do we? I'm
I
not
didn't
gonna
say a
text
damn
him.
thing.
I didn't want to put it in the group because I didn't know if you.
The only thing I said to you was so dumb, and that's after Quay Walker got kicked out. I texted, I was like, it's so dumb, like that the dumbest thing ever, right? I didn't text him after. I didn't text him before. I didn't text him. I didn't say like, hey, who are we doing for top movers on Mojo? I didn't say shit. But we walked in today and he was singing the praises of a tight game. I don't know.
Chris, did you see the thing on Reddit? And it's like a big thread on Reddit. It's Vikings fan. Barstool's talking about it. Vikings fans started this huge Reddit, right? Saying that the game that the Packers played the Vikings, where
are you
Jefferson
talking about?
never goes across the middle of the field,
Uh-huh.
that there was no precipitation in Green Bay up until like the 23rd. So it shouldn't have been, the field shouldn't have been wet at all. But obviously, in my head, I'm like, they have sprinkler system. But they're going with this. And they're saying the field was soaking wet in the middle of the field.
So was it only wet when the Vikings were on offense?
Obviously, but no, Justin Jefferson never went across the field, is the point they're making. Never went across the middle of the field. Remember, Jair said, somebody said like they put him on skates or something.
So wait, so
That's the thread.
so
It's on
Justin
Barstool,
Jefferson's
find it.
unable to go across the middle of the field if there's like a quarter inch of water. In
You
a
gotta
spot
see
But
on-
it.
why
It's
is
on
there a
Barstool.
quarter inch of water?
If there was no
The plot
precipitation.
thickens.
Give me a break.
Bum, bum, bum. A little Belichick
The
action
Vikings
here.
are a playoff team.
Yeah, they are.
The
They
Packers
are.
aren't.
They are. They are not.
Vikings fans gotta get a grip.
Ken, you're right.
Some
Get a grip.
breaking News: the Cardinals GM just stepped down too.
Holy
He was going to
shit.
the bald guy.
Yeah,
He was going to something. He was like sick. Or
yeah.
something.
To focus on his health.
Yeah.
So,
But obviously he left.
but that's the point I was
Yeah,
going to bring
might as
up
well.
before we get out of here. I was going to bring that up. The fact that the GM didn't draft Justin Fields, right? And we're like, oh, they potentially can move on. And I'm like, I don't think so. That's exactly what happened with the Cardinals. They drafted Josh Rosen. They thought that was going to be their guy. And as soon as Kingsbury got there, they're like, no, we got the number 1 overall pick. We're taking Kyler Murray. And you're saying bye-bye to the Hebrew Hammer known as Josh Rosen. Okay. So he's out of there. He's almost
Hammer.
he's out of the
Wasn't
league
Hebrew
at this
Hammer,
point.
Isn't that Sean Green?
I don't know. I made it up. I just know Rosen seems like a very Jewish name. So I just,
Did you guys hear about Durant? He had an MCL sprain last night. It got tested. Now they're saying they need to wait 2 more weeks to reevaluate.
bro, have they won 18 out of
But they're
20?
killing. They're like destroying.
Jesus
And they're probably
They
going
won
to
again
keep
last
on
night.
winning.
Huh?
Kyrie's playing out of his mind.
I mean, not without Durant. If they lose him for 4 weeks, that's going to be tough. Fuck the Nets. I don't care. Let's screw.
Who we picking for college football tonight, fellas?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Spread is Georgia 13.
Oof,
Georgia.
Georgia. I'm gonna think they run them out of town. To be honest, that's just a big team. I mean, TCU, Hogan.
Max
Duggan has played very, very well. It's a great story, But those boys are all like first-round picks over there on the defensive front for the Georgia Bulldogs. I think Georgia runs away with it. I think they win that game outright. I don't think TCU has a chance. And look, I'm rooting for TCU. I am. I always like the underdog, and I like Duggan. I like the way he's played. I like his style of play. I'm going with those guys as Gooch vigorously is searching on who he's going to draft number 1 overall when he rigs the next fantasy baseball draft.
I'm taking TCU.
Bro, I run my league with the utmost integrity.
Scoop has come in with some more breaking news. The New York Knicks have not lost in 2023.
They have a better record.
That
than
is
the
a
Nets.
fact. Who?
The Knicks. By like 1 game.
No.
Yeah. Hold on, I was just looking.
There's no way.
The Knicks are 22-18. The Nets are 27-13. Oh well, I don't know about that. I'm high, bro. I only saw the one less loss. I don't know what I'm talking about. So the Nets are 27-13, and the Knicks are 22-18, which is pretty cool.
So a 5-game difference from the Nets.
I've won, guys.
It's only like one game. The Knicks have 22 wins, and the Nets have 27. It's like, holy shit! All right, guys. Well, with that being said, a great.
Gooch, can you get people to actually care this year?
Yes, we
for
will.
Fantasy baseball.
Yes, we will.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we will.
So no pick bish in the league this year.
Oh,
right?
what? Are you kidding? Then why? Garrett Cole was a fantastic first-round pick. By the
And then
way.
when Jimmy came in and it was like Stanton,
He's actually getting Stanton gets involved.
still
Dude.
available. I was like,
It ruined the draft when Jimmy walked
Fuck.
in. I was like, the whole vibe was just like gutted. And then I almost wanted to kill Scoop because he took who did he take? You know who was in the Blogging the Boys Twitter spaces last night? Jose Trevino.
Really?
Yeah, he jumped on. He wanted to listen. He's a Cowboys fan. Yankees catcher is a Cowboys fan because
Did he
he's from
talk?
Texas.
cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Pretty good shout out to those guys over at Blogging the Boys.
Rutgers basketball is doing pretty good too.
Severino's still there, huh? Yeah, that's Scoop. There he is. Severino, the son of a bitch. I was so on fire when he just blurted out a name. I was like, oh, I hate that.
Well, Severino. I think I got
There he is, Severino. Tony was there. Anyway, if you're listening right now, go over to Scoop's house. I'll drop Scoop's address in the
Just
comments.
call a cab.
So,
He'll probably pick you up or
he'll,
something.
Some risky business surrounding Luis Severino, by the way. He's still shy of 30, but is dominant when he's on the mound. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to work regularly in recent seasons because of injuries. Fantasy owners need to account for Severino's health if they're considering an investment for services. So Severino doesn't stay healthy. So
man.
be careful.
Be
Call a
careful.
cab. Somebody will
Be
come get you.
careful. Anyway, it's a longer show today. So thanks for sticking with us. Like the video. If you're brand new to us, Mondays and Fridays. And starting this week, the Chop Sports Social will go down. You just got to talk to Chris about that. I have a funny feeling I'm going to be running that show by myself at this point. There's a lot going on over here at Chop Studios. I did just send our first show to the Premier Streaming Network. It is our Pro Football Newsroom with Tony Catalina and Aiden Davis. So congratulations to those guys. Those guys are the first ones on that new network, even though they're not airing anything until a week. It's more like a soft launch and a trial period, but proud of those guys, proud of everybody at Chop Sports for hustling and doing their thing. So Rob, I know you had a good time over in MLW. We'll get into all
Can't
that.
even speak about it.
I mean, it's probably not legal to speak about the things that you guys
I'm gonna
did.
fucking choke Tommy out though.
Jim Cornette, what are you talking about? For Sturch Gooch, Wrestling Rob, and of course A5 behind the glass. This has been another episode of the Chop Sports Show. We'll see you guys back here on Friday to pick some playoff games.